I'm showing you this not because of the books, which is going to be its own video, but I used to use 3 of these as my china cabinet years ago because I could not find a china cabinet big enough, and this is before I got all the additions to my collections. But even back then, just having my one china set, my hummingbird set, my fall set, the set my husband had when we married, before we married. And I had drilled holes on the upper shelves of some and put cup hooks and hung the teacups and it was nicely, I had to keep it nice because I put a clear vinyl, I hung a clear vinyl and velcroed and used thumbtacks to put them on there so that they didn't get so dusty so fast or grease from the cooking, because my dining room and kitchen were open to each other. And this has this ratchet strap because it actually bowed out on the sides because of the weight of all the books I had in here recently. So I just fixed that and got it glued and got some 2x2s in the corners over here. But anyway, I used 3 of these for my china cabinet. And we looked and we looked and we looked for china cabinets that would be big enough. And the ones that were, the biggest ones we could find were like $1,000, would have been a pain to move. And they were not big enough. We found these at Kmart for like right under $200, a little over with taxes. But my husband put them together while I went off for a day. And I still kept one of those bookshelves in the middle for years because I like using the cup hooks, and that was before I got all sorts of stuff. I've had this for a long time. It used to belong to a friend of my mom's, and when she passed, I bought that from her husband. This went to a set from my husband's stepmother, and my son has the rest of that set, but he wanted bigger mugs. These were way too tiny for him. But what I want to share with you is, there's always a way to make things work. But what's sad is, like this set here. This one I really wanted. This when I saw it, I like having a different type of pattern than having something just, a circular pattern like a lot of plates have. I like this maple leaf. I researched it online because the auction showed the back of the plate, and this one plate at replacement.com is $15. I'm pretty sure I bought this one for under $20. It could have been $12. But I had a $75 high bid on it after I talked to my husband and said how much I wanted this. I've been looking for something. This set over here is not a full set, but it's kind of sort of, if I needed more than 12 place settings, I could add that with this. And these are like paper. They are so light. It's like holding a paper cup. I just love this set. I love making tea and drinking, just sitting down when I got time. I hadn't had time in a while. But the reason I'm sharing this is somebody paid full price for this or got it as a wedding present. And I think it's really crazy for young couples to pick out a china pattern that's going to cost somebody $100 or more for one place setting. And a lot of people, I just don't do that. I've never bought into that because I think it's really ridiculous. I think it's crazy for a young couple that's going to be moving multiple times, having little kids, and having that kind of money spent on them. It's not like, in the 50s where that was a different world. But somebody got this set, and chances are she never, ever, or very rarely used it. Nobody in the family became emotionally attached. Nobody in the family said, oh, I remember when Mama put this out and we ate this wonderful dinner on that beautiful china set. In fact, the bowls were so grimy, I don't think she ever used this set. Because at auction, when that one was just covered. All of it was covered with the thick layer. It was really grungy, and I was a little worried. But warm soap and water. They all have to be hand washed. Anything with metal has to be hand washed. The dishwasher's too hot and it can melt that. Even though with this set, I did that. This was one of those box sets that you can buy. It was normally $20 for 4-place settings. So you had 4 plates, 4 bowls, four small plates, 4 saucers, and 4 cups. I bought the serving platter and bowls and these separately, but I got them on sale for $10. I spent $40 and got 16 place settings because that was important to me. I liked setting a pretty table. It's important to me. And we use this every Friday night for many, many years, and then for holidays and special events, and when we had a nice dinner to put, because I really hate that joke about I'm going to use the fine china and they bring out paper plates, or oh please, not styrofoam plates. I am so tempted to start carrying my own plates to certain people's houses and going, okay, I'll just wash my own. Don't worry about it. I just hate styrofoam. And you can't ever sit with it in your lap because some of these places, they don't give you, you can't sit at a table and paper and styrofoam plates will give. So, and I'm messy even under the best of circumstances. So I don't need that additional, it's going to be all over my lap type of situations. But we literally did use this for many years, so that my kids do have memories of, and then I always made them set the table from a very young age. That was part of their stuff. They know which side the fork goes on, and my son will deliberately do things the wrong way just to watch a vein on my forehead come out. But that's his way of loving me, I guess. But they know how to set a table. They know when a table's set right, and they also know that there's, when you can break those rules and have everything on one side, or have everything on the other side, or have it at the top, or when we're doing buffet and I don't set a table and the forks and knives are at the end of the buffet, not at the beginning. That's another pet peeve. You don't know if you're going to need a spoon until you get through the line. So why do that? You don't need to when you're getting food, why do you have to hold utensils and napkins? Get them at the end. Please, people. It makes sense. Anyway. But no memories were made with these, so I lucked out and I got them for literally less than a plate. So, as sad as that is for them, I got it. But if you have nice china, it's grandma's china, and you're so scared it's going to get broken, get over it. I'm telling you now, because it's going to end up at auction, and someone like me, as nice as I am, is going to end up with it that never knew your grandmother, doesn't care about your grandmother. It's, I don't know the story on this, but it's a beautiful set, and I'm going to treasure it, and hopefully whoever had it is thrilled that I'm using it and I'm making memories with my family and my friends with this. And, learn from that. These are just, I'm just amazed. I'm flabbergasted that I got that. I was expecting it to go up. I was like, seriously? This set had, I got 2 sets for 20 or less that had over 90 pieces with it. This is a 12-place setting. It's missing a couple of cups and a saucer, I think. That's it. It came with serving, sugar bowl, creamer, serving bowl. I think they got some more pieces below. That huge platter, another platter back here. And I love stemware. Another thing about stemware, seriously, Dollar Tree. I used to work for a restaurant supply place. And they did it all. They would come in and they did all of Applebee's and Ryan's back in the day. The train set that went over Ryan's, the carousel horses that were in Applebee's. And even at cost, the cost that the company paid, I could not buy these for less than for $1. They were all over $1. So if you bought a case which was like 36 in a box, you were paying over $40 for it. And when they had a clearance and I got some for like a quarter of the price, I bought a whole bunch of it. Over the years, my husband made me get rid of them, and then I've reaccumulated things. Again, this was at auction. I thought this was lovely. I used these at Thanksgiving. I put cranberry sauce and just had these, like 4 of them out all over the table so people can just get a little bit of cranberry sauce. Just bigger bowls, and it came with these. And I got these. I do some weird things at auction. I watch things I think are interesting. Like this set, I'm not in love with. I've used it a couple of times. It's pretty, and it's eight pieces, eight bowls. Let me bring that into the light. You know, the bowls are kind of plain, but those are the bowls. And it had saucers and these mugs. 8. So I put them on my watch list, and then like the day before or so, and the stuff I really want from that day, that particular auction, someone's already outbidded me on. So I was like, okay, fine. So I've got a little bit of wiggle room with my budget. So it's like, okay, I can bid $4 on that. Nobody else bid on it, so I got it for $2 or $3. If someone needs a plate, I've already given out several sets to several people. A really nice china set to a young couple, because our church does a annual spring or fall or Christmas tea, and even though some of the ladies use paper products, and actually they do an excellent job with the paper products, and they normally have like chargers, so when they're taking their plates to the buffet, it's not going to collapse on them. But a lot of ladies will bring china, and the young ones can do that. It's the older ones of us that's getting to the paper because it's too much for us to carry and to deal with this kind of stuff. So it's like, that's understandable. I get that. But I like to set a pretty table, and I bought her a set and gave it to her. And someone we knew went through a fire, and she wasn't. When I asked her, how are you doing with kitchen stuff? What do you need? She really didn't know because she hadn't been, it was just overwhelming. She couldn't get through the stuff. So they were buying food, going to McDonald's or Wendy's or what have you, that kind of stuff, because she just wasn't able to cook. So they needed plates. So I was like, here's a dish set. Do whatever you need. Her dish set could have been salvaged from the fire. I don't know. But here was something that she could use right then. So I was able to supply that. And here's another, got this next to nothing. It's not a chip, just where it's been, I guess the gold wasn't on there well. But anyway, I wanted a pretty set, something more springtime. I've got the other ones are fall. This one's, I keep meaning to get like some sort of crystal or something and gluing that on there just so that you would have that for the sugar bowl. The teacups are they're not all the same. You can tell that this one's see the handle's different. But they were all together. It's like 90 some pieces. I use all these. I rotate them for the most part. I don't, these can go in the dishwasher, the stoneware stuff. This is the nice spring one. There's a story with, I call one of my grandsons Goose, and it was, my husband and daughter were arguing. They were looking at something, this bird in the sky, and one of them said it was a vulture, the other one said it was a hawk, and they were going back and forth. Neither one was giving, and he was, my grandson was real preschool at that time, or kindergarten, and he just bops up. And they're arguing back and forth. It's a vulture. It's a hawk. No, it's a vulture. No, it's a hawk. And I mean, they were really getting at it, and they were getting very loud with it. And he just bops up and says, "It's a goose." And they just their jaws dropped, and they looked at him, and they started laughing, and that was end of discussion. It's a goose. They weren't going to argue with him. Never mind that goose don't fly in circles. But since then, I sometimes call him a goose. And when I saw this set, I had to get it. I just, I am not a goose person, but because of that incident, it makes me smile. It reminds me of why I got that set. And I hope to maybe pass that on to him or his grandkids Lord, you know, willing, lets me live that long. But he's already a teenager. He's going to be 14 soon. Oh my God. Anyway, so I get the stuff. This set, oh, he used to have these huge mugs, and it's heartbroken that they've all broken over the years because we used them. These were wedding presents. These were made by a cousin of my husband's that does pottery up in North Carolina. So I've got my sets down here, and a Christmas set. I've actually bought a Christmas set for my daughter, and she wanted me to store it. So she's yet to use it, but I may use it this year. I'm going to make myself use this year. So everything gets used. Everything gets memories. Everything gets photoed. It's important. So even with the china cabinets, we got the 2 china cabinets, and I was using a shelf. I moved all this stuff before we moved everything else over here. In fact, I had to store this stuff in the bathroom because they were doing the floors, pulling up all this mauve carpet, and putting in this flooring. So I was bringing all this stuff over in the car so that if anything got broken, it was all on me. And then I had the guys bring over this stuff, the cabinets, when the floors were done, and then I loaded everything up. And it was still not enough room, so I went out and got 2 of these cabinets from Lowe's. They're actually, I guess, for the garage or closet. And I assembled them and then put these on here so that I could hang my stemware. Got these at a thrift store that supported a ministry that I like supporting. So, Dollar Tree, I think I got those for about $1 each when it came down to it. So these are used as storage. You know, doesn't have to be pretty. Some Jefferson cups. Those are kind of neat. I like that. I'm going to take those camping. Got that at the auction. These are octagonal plates. And there's bowls in there too. Octagonal bowl. Because I had these huge octagonal serving plates over here too. The steak plates. Got them from my son-in-law, but he didn't want them, so they came back to me. I may have to resell them, but because of what I got my husband for Christmas, we may be using them. Oh, you see the poker stuff? I made this. So when the kids come over, we play poker. I've been teaching them about how to properly gamble, which is don't be stupid. Don't gamble with money you don't have. But this way they weren't asking us, what beats a full house? You know, they were able to look up here and go, okay, this is cards from decks that we've been letting the kids play with that were missing pieces. But showing them, royal flush, straight flush, 4 of a kind, full house, flush, 3 of a kind, straight. Then it's 3 of a kind. See, I get that confused too, so I need to look at that. And then showing them certain wild cards, the Suicide Kings and the One-Eyed Jacks. So, really doesn't belong here. And on top of that, I got a phone call saying, do you want a china cabinet? Free. We'll bring it to you and everything. How do I say no to that? I don't. But it was this wood, dark wood, I guess walnut. And it looked okay. But I like it so much better this white. And the only thing wrong with it was this little piece of glass was broken out. There's one piece missing. I glued it back in. And I'm probably going to sell this. But this has my Asian stuff. Most of that was things I bought or were gifted. That was a wedding present years ago. This one I got at an auction. That was a present. These are auction. These are just amazing. I don't know if you can see the pattern. You can actually see through that. And they came with spoons that were also, you can see through. That I got from my mom. She gave that to me years ago, and I've taken that to a sushi place, and they gave me sushi that I took to a picnic. And these auction. It's on the turntable, and 4 compartments in there. I grew up with one of these in the house, and this one I bought at auction, and the lacquer's coming up, but I've been refilling that. Again, auction, turntable. Green, I love green, that's my favorite color, so doing that. And then egg coddlers. Look them up. I thought it was pretty neat, but they only do 1 egg. These are on the small size, and I need something bigger. A friend of mine collects teapots, and I bought her this beautiful teapot that came from England. I got it at auction for next to nothing, and it was a $40 teapot, which is like, no, I'm never going to spend $40 on a teapot unless it's like sterling silver, and that would be a good deal. Anyway. And when I posted that, someone who should have known better said, don't you start your own collection. And I did. But they're all cottage themed. And cookie jars and pasta. That's supposed to be for pasta. Cookie jars. I'm probably going to give this one away. It just doesn't go with, because I don't have the rest on winter. Above, I've got ornaments. That stays there year round. That's a future project. My punch bowls and punch cups, I actually use them that way. I don't, again, I don't like disposables unless, we're camping or it's going outside. And the bottom has books and games, which needs to be relocated. And I even thought about using this for my jewelry. But that's not really going to work out because most of the stuff is going to end up in the bottom, and I want to be able to see everything. So I'm still working on the upper part display, and those peace lilies, one from my husband's father dying earlier this year, and then my mom dying. I got them from church. But it's a work in progress. What's weird about me is my closets are neater than the outsides. I don't know why that is. A friend of mine tried to show me how she cleaned house. She literally stuffed the junk into the closets. It bugs me like crazy to have to dig things out to get to something else. And I need to work on that because maybe I need to have a closet that I can shove everything into so the rest of the house looks good. But I really want to get things organized. Even in my kitchen, my cabinets, the drawers, everything is easy to find and get to. But then I've got stuff sitting on the countertops, and it's making me, it's time to change that. So this is part of what I'm doing. But I wanted to share about making memories more so. I mean, these things, special plates are for special people, not events. And if it gets broken, if it gets chipped, that's a memory. My son was sweeping. I had these out on a shelf on a buffet, a small antique buffet I had at that time. I had that set, and he was listening to something on the headphones, and he backed up into it with the handle of the broom and broke like 3 pieces of that set. It's a tea set. It's not a dinner set. And he broke a couple of teacups, and it was heartbreaking. I mean, I was like, and the look on his face, I did not have words. Normally I would have chewed him out. Normally the way I am, like, what, why weren't you paying attention? Why weren't you? But he was so heartbroken over it that I didn't need to chew him out. He was not going to do this over again. He was going to be more cautious. He's never done it again. That was many years ago. But it's like, son, just be more careful. I love you more than I love those plates, and the cups. I love you, and that's a memory. It's not the happiest memory, but it was actually a pretty good memory because as much as I love that set, and that was the beginning, I didn't have any, that was the finest china I had at that time. I had that cheaper china, but that was my pride, I guess, however you want to put it. But him breaking it, and then me realizing what my pride really was in, what my heart really was about, that's a memory. There's stories of, people would save the broken pieces, a little chip off the plate, and they still use the chip plate because they needed all the plates, and that chip was saved in a mother's jewelry box, and that was such and such dinner from such and such year, and so did such, and it broke. This is before people were taking photos of everything. Thank God. And that's how she remembered that event, was from that piece of broken china. Make memories, because when I'm gone, my kids may have my scrapbooks. They may look through the scrapbooks and go, "Oh yeah, I remember that," or "I remember this," and they have their photos now that they're taking with their cameras. And as long as they don't lose that memory or that card or that phone, hopefully they're backing it up, they'll have those memories. We just went to a gorgeous, gorgeous wedding. My daughter and my grandson was dancing for the first time. He was on a dance floor with us. He looked funny as heck. I'm so glad we got some videos, but he was having a blast. Memories. He's going to remember that wedding. That's we got videos and photos of the first time he was dancing on a dance floor with people. Strangers, most of them. But what do we leave behind? What happens when we're gone? I have in mind who's going to get some of the stuff, but in the end, I'm going to use them. I'm going to use every one of them, every chance I get. I'm going to set the table. It's going to have Christmas plates for the next big one. We're going to do a Christmas Eve dinner over here, and I'm going to use the Christmas plates. So, are you making memories, or are you just letting them collect dust? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.